Hey everybody, I just want to say hi and welcome. I just wanted to start by talking about the motive that I have for putting this little informational video together. My motive is not to monetize this channel. My motive is not to gain popularity on the channel. I'm simply putting this together for my friends and for my family. And the reason I'm doing this is because all of us are inundated with information on a day-to-day basis. Some of that information is true, and some of that information is not true. And when it's alarming information, because of the fact that we get so much disinformation coming our way, we tend to ignore anything that's alarming. I don't follow the news. I don't believe the reporting of the mainstream news. I think they've proven themselves to be complicit in keeping the truth from the people. So what I hope to do is show you how I deal with some of this information that comes my way. I simply look at the information and I check to see for myself if there's any validity to what's being said. Well, that's a good segue into why I've created this video on the Great Reset. It started with an email that I received from a friend who received an email from a friend. And I'm just going to go through this email and talk about some of the shocking information that's being stated. And then I want to ask the question, is this just fiction or is there any fact to it? And I want to try to find information to validate whether or not this letter is fiction or fact. So I'm going to start by reading part of it. The reason states why, the email states why the writer of this email, who's not mentioned, it's been removed, wrote it. And essentially what she says is she's a committee member of the Liberal Party of Canada, and the information she's giving us is actually coming from the Strategic Planning Committee, which is steered by the Prime Minister's office. This is what she says. She says she wants to start off by saying that she's not happy about doing this, but she has to. She thinks it's important as a parent who wants to raise a better future for not only her children, but for other children as well. And the other reason she's doing this because she says that roughly 30% of the committee members are not pleased with the direction this will take Canada. But their opinions are being ignored, and the people steering the committee plan to go ahead with their goals. So what are their goals? In this section down here, they basically list what the new COVID regulations are going to be going out to Q3 of 2021. But I want to focus our attention, which is alarming. I mean, if you want this email, I can forward it to you. Just let me know. What she says in here is kind of alarming, but I want to go down to here. Along with that provided roadmap, the Strategic Planning Committee was asked to design an effective way of transitioning Canadians to meet an unprecedented economic endeavor, one that would change the face of Canada and forever alter the lives of Canadians. We were told that in order to offset what was essentially an economic collapse on an international scale, that the federal government was going to have to offer Canadians a total debt relief. This is how it works. The federal government will offer to eliminate all personal debts and mortgages and loans, credit cards, etc., which all funding will be provided for to Canada by the IMF under what will become known as the World Debt Reset Program. Here you go. World Reset. World Debt Reset. The question that I want to ask in this video, is there any truth that we are in the process of an entire global reset? And if it's true, what will the world look like after it's been reset? In the following videos, I'm going to show you some other people who make the same claims I want to show you that the media and politicians are debunking the claim, and then I want to take a look at the facts. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, feel free to share it. Again, I'm not looking to monetize this channel. I just want people to think. Thanks for watching.
Allow me to address you at this hour in which the fate of the whole world is being threatened by a global conspiracy against God and humanity.
I've been looking at several of your most recent videos, which are absolutely fantastic. And you just had a discussion about the Great Reset, and with Klaus and with the World Economic Forum. And what we want to try to focus on today is kind of the end game. And I thought, since that's on everyone's mind right now, that would be a great place to start.
Yeah, I think, we really are at the end game. It's interesting. I wrote my book back in 2005, 6, and 7. It came out just before the market crash in 2008, so it became a best-selling book because of the timing. And the timing was sort of, an accident, but in it, I predicted a whole lot of the stuff that is happening. It has taken a lot longer for all of this to unfold, but you can see that if you look at episode 7 of Hidden Secrets of Money, if your viewers will take a look at that, in there, part of it, where we animated certain sections of the book. It's narrated and animated, and you can see that it's the beginnings of this end game are just playing out right now. The huge expansion of the currency supply and the collapse of velocity to offset the expansion of the currency supply, mitigating retail inflation. But it stores energy, and we have historic precedences for this. We've got, I use Weimar Germany in this example, but Weimar Germany, back then, the world didn't have the modern financial system revolved on debt. The world wasn't like that back in 1918 through 1923. Now,
how does the Great Reset come into that? Because what you just said there, people used to own things. And the first thing that came to my mind is the World Economic Forum's push towards us renting everything. I sent out a tweet the other day where they had these projections for 2030, and one of their projections is you will own nothing, or you will rent everything, you will own nothing, and you will be happy.
It's the Great Reset. Now, the Great Reset, there's a lot of buzz online about a video from September, or sometime in the summer, that Justin Trudeau appeared in some sort of UN council where he was basically announcing that he was giving $400 million to foreign aid for whatever countries, and he had used a phrase that was getting a lot of attention lately, which was basically the Great Reset. Now, the Great Reset, if you're not familiar, is a term that's been, I believe, basically coined, or at least was kickstarted by the World Economic Forum.
Okay, so here we have an account. One was a letter that came to me from a friend that was forwarded to her from a friend. Not a real first-hand source of information. We have an interview, or we have the nun reading the letter from the delegate, the apostolic delegate to the United States. I can't think of his name right offhand, but I'm sure I'll find it later on. We have Mike Maloney and the fellow he was chatting with talking about the end game and the Great Reset. And then we have the two boys, Canadian boys, doing that interview where they have mentioned the Great Reset as well too. That's not enough to prove that it exists, that it's true, but it does show you that there are people that have a notion that something big is going to happen, and this type of stuff is the kind of stuff that you can make movies out of. I mean, if any of it's true. The question is it true? Well, let's take a look and see what the media has to say. So here we have CBC News, and they say that the Great Reset, politics and conspiracy, that's a headline that they're putting in. They're tying in Great Reset with the word conspiracy, and that's from CBC BBC News. And the next headline is from the Globe and Mail. And this headline reads, "The Great Reset conspiracy theory is a great embarrassment for all involved, including Ottawa." And now we have a headline from Global News, and it reads, "Experts dig into the Great Reset conspiracy theory." Trustworthy reporting from the BBC. This is their headline: "Coronavirus pandemic, Great Reset theory, and a false vaccine claim debunked." Again, we're looking at the headlines and what the media has to say about this Great Reset theory. The next headline here is from our very own Star. Conservative MP warns that Justin Trudeau wants a Great Reset. Conspiracy theorists are worried too. And then the last headline I've got here is from the actual Huffington Post. And it says, Canada's top banker chuckles when asked about the Great Reset and conspiracy theory. So there you have it, some headlines as to what the media is telling us about the Great Reset conspiracy. The next video I'm going to show you is a politician actually out of New Zealand, or I might have got that wrong. I guess he might mention it in the video, but this is a politician saying that the idea of a global conspiracy and a Great Reset is totally absurd. Take a look.
One Nation put up a motion criticising the World Economic Forum for putting out some obscure proposal I'd never heard of. Some weird thing nobody outside the darkest corner of Sky News After Dark programming has ever heard about.
Well, there you have it. Rumors, and then the media is reporting on the rumors. Now, the question that we need to ask is, can we actually trust the media's reporting? I'm sure many of you have seen this next thing, but go ahead and be reminded and ask yourself the question, can we trust the media, or is the media given a script to read and shoving it down our throats?
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about the trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 What's extremely dangerous to our democracy, or any democracy, is when we no longer have a fifth estate faithfully reporting the truth. The ironic thing about this clip is the accusation that all the media are instructed to make is that social media is full of disinformation, and that people basically put up things to push their own agenda. Well, I'll tell you what's scary is when you can see collusion amongst the media, the fact that all of the media is owned by just a few people and they seem to have an agenda to tell us a certain narrative that we're forced to believe. That's what's extremely dangerous to our democracy. What's not dangerous to our democracy is people reporting and giving their opinions on what they're reporting and letting the public make a decision for themselves. That's what's not dangerous to our democracy. So we don't need the media to safeguard us against independent thought. What we'd like the media to do is actually report the truth for a change.